Good afternoon, class. Today we are going to study about introduction to product management, and we have some learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, students should be able to give a description of the job and characteristics of successful product managers. Secondly, differentiate between product and brand management. Identify the different marketing organizational structures and know the changes affecting product management. So in order for us to attain these objectives, we need to study different topics. Define what is product management, the scope of product management, what are the skills required by a successful product manager, differences between product manager and brand management, different marketing organizations, changes affecting product management. Let us proceed with the definition of product management. It includes figuring out the right product or products to build, create, maintain, and implement product plans that describe how products will be created, changed, controlled, and supported, marketing, and selling the products. Let us try to dissect this product management. It says here that product management includes the right products or products that you have to build, create, maintain, and implement the product plans. So it means to say that product management starts and evolves with a research. You try to study the pros and cons of that product. You try to define what should the product be when it's going to be introduced to the market. You have to plan out what will be your pricing, how are you going to promote your product, how are you going to make a place strategy of your product. So it starts from the development and conception until the product is made. And another definition is that product management is an organizational life cycle function within a company dealing with the planning or marketing of products in all stages of the product life cycle. We know that the product life cycle, if this is time and this is the different stages, we know that it starts from introduction stage, growth stage, and starts in growth and maturity stage. So, product management involves the planning of the different stages of the organization and the product life cycle. That is product management. The main focus is definitely driving new product. So it's more on new product development. Let's take for example, if you are the product manager of Apple company and your product is iPhone, and you are a product manager of this company, you might try to develop a new product mix or a new product line that will be in that will enable your iPhone to be unlocked using the iris of your eye. No longer numeric codes, but rather an iris of your eye that could enable your iPhone to be unlocked. Of course, some of the security codes are there. So if you are the product manager of that certain company, you will not only determine the management of that brand that you introduce in the introduction, meaning to say all of the stages of the organization, you should determine what will be your marketing strategy, what will be your product strategy in all of the different stages. The scope of product management versus marketing management. You can see here that the scope of marketing is very broad because it includes the portfolio of all the products of a certain company. In product management, the scope is narrow because you are focused on the product line. When it comes to the nature of decision making, the marketing side of management is more long-term because it is strategic, while on product management, it's more on the tactical or mid-term. Okay? And the time element involved is long-term, while a product management is short-term. I'm not saying that if you are a product manager, your responsibility is no longer strategic. No. What we are saying here is that day-to-day transaction, you are thinking on a tactical, but you are basing your tactical strategy based on the strategic. Okay? Who is a product manager? A product manager is she is responsible for planning the activities related to the product or product line. Must get the organization to support his program. Let's say, for example, you are Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble has a lot of product mixes. Product mixes are all the product that they are selling. They have Procter & Gamble is a consumer fast moving goods. So they have a lot from laundry to bath soap to detergents to consumables like baby diapers, deodorants, etc. So a lot of product mixes, and with that product mixes, they have the different portfolios of product lines. No? So a product manager, that's why it's quite narrow because you are focused on your product lines you are handling. If this is one product mix, there is a series of product lines. A product manager handles the different product lines. And of course, a product manager is a middle manager who is in charge with managing and marketing existing products and developing products. What is important here, guys, is the role of a product manager is in the middle management. So, if you have the vice president here, the next in rank will be a manager, and the next in rank will be a supervisor. So, all product managers should be equipped with the supervisory and managerial skills. And basically, you are here in this level, middle management. Because if you are in the lower management, your supervisory skills and managerial skills are not good enough, no? In terms of planning, implementing, evaluation, and continuous development. And basically all product managers should be in the middle management. And here are the different skills required for a product manager. In key skill area, we can look at it. The requirement is very high as far as communication skills is concerned. And second, high is your analytical and complex problem skill. Coordinating skills or interpersonal skills. It is very high in the initiative skills, proactiveness, teamwork, collaborative skills. And the rest are all medium. Unlike today, in the 21st century, employers are looking for the skills that employers are looking for from fresh grads. Number one, in the year 2020, top three. An applicant should have complex problem-solving skills. Number two, critical thinking. And number three is creativity. So these are the top three 21st century skills that employers are looking for from fresh graduates. Number one skills is complex problem-solving skills. So in other words, it is not only the skills that you can see here that these are skills needed by a product manager. What we are trying to emphasize here, that in a student level capacity, up to the time that you grow in the corporate organization, these skills should be developed to you inherent during the time that you are studying. You must have the analytical skills to solve not simple but rather complex problem solving. And you must always challenge the status quo so that you will be able to go out of your comfort zone and try to be critical thinkers. And of course, you must be innovative to be creative. So in other words, what you can see here, the skills that is required to a product manager is not only applied to a product manager, but if you want to get employment, these top three skills are being required and want to be seen by the employer. Complex problem-solving skills, critical thinking, and creativity. And the other skills is analysis, your analytical skill, your punctuality, your knowledge on the job, your experience, and your educational attainment, and your huge international potential and fast-track pay scales. So in other words, if you develop these skills, problem-solving skills, critical thinking, creativity, it will bring you to prosperity, it will bring you to success. Regardless, that is the skills required to a product manager. What I'm trying to emphasize is at student level, you must acquire those skills already. Let's go to the different interactions or coordinations that product managers do. They coordinate with the different agencies and the functional units inside and outside of the company. So they also try to coordinate with the suppliers, with the different trade between manufacturing and distribution. Okay, especially they want to involve in the research and development other suppliers. So again, because product managers are involved in new product development, it starts first with the research, really. No? Asking what is the research objectives, what are the research problems, what primary and secondary data that you need. Okay. The next part is trying to understand what are the difference between a product manager or a product management and brand management. By brand management, it deals with the emotional benefits of a brand. So meaning to say, if you are an Apple company, the brand manager takes care of that logo, an apple that has a small bite on the side. And with brand management, there is brand equity. The customers are getting from the brand. Meaning to say, like an Apple cell phone or iPhone, not everybody can afford to have an iPhone because of the premium price it commands in the market. But everybody aspires to have an Apple cell phone or smartphone because it has a lot of benefits, features, advanced features, nice pixel cameras, memories, but not everybody can afford. So that's brand equity. In product management, it deals with the tangible thing, which is the product itself, no? The product design, the functions, and the features. Remember, the three different level of the product. The core product, which is the benefit. The second is the actual product. You deal with the actual product, the quality, the features, the specifications, the packaging. And the third level is the augmented product. You deal with the terms of payment, after sales service, terms of payment, whether that is cash, debit, or credit, and you deal with installation, no? Installation. So these are what we call the augmented product level, and it is an intangible part of the product. The core product is also intangible, which tells us about the benefit that the product will provide us. And what is only tangible is the actual product. So in other words, the difference between brand and product management is that in brand, you're talking of the image of the company in relation to their reputation to the public. You are talking of brand equity, how customers see your corporate reputation. Okay, so brand management has a bigger scope than product management, but product management is very important because you take care of the three levels of your product. When it comes to responsibilities, especially an example here, there are two companies here that both are engaged in consumer product, Unilever and Procter and Gamble. In companies for which there is one primary brand, product managers manage product lines, while brand managers manage the corporate brands at a high level, mostly focusing on brand equity measurement. Brand equity measurement is the premium value that customers are giving to the brand. Meaning to say, an example of that is an Apple cell phone, iPhone. The price is premium. Everyone wants to have it, but not all have the privilege to own it. So that is the brand equity we are talking about. A brand manager, you can see here a comparative. It talks about brand identity, equity, preservation. So it's more on the corporate level, Okay. While a product manager is very specific. So if you want to look at this on a circle, that is the brand, that is the product management, but outside it is the brand, the corporate brand. No? Okay. There are different marketing organizations that are uh, designed to different organizations, because two organizations are not different and similar. Every organizations have different needs and wants. So this marketing organization will depend on the type of organization you are in. We have here a product focused structure that you can see here the different functions. So we are much familiar with marketing. So in marketing, we have marketing research, we have product management, and we have support. Okay. And in this category, product management, we have a manager for product A, manager for product B, and manager for product C. Meaning to say, the manager for product A is totally different and specific only for product A to have a focus. Okay? That is a product focus structure. Who utilize this product focus structure? One is Universal Robina, a food corporation. They have branded consumer foods group. They have agro-industrial group, and they have commodity foods group. So different product lines, no, for each particular group. So each group is managed by a different product manager. Moving forward, what is the characteristic of a product focus organization? Number one is the classic brand management structure that was developed by Procter and Gamble in the 1930s. So in other words, Procter and Gamble is also using maybe a combination of different sets of marketing organization, but one they started in the 1930s is the product focus organization that is found in packaged goods industries, and they call the product managers as mini chief executive officer. My God, very nice. Of course, there are also disadvantages and advantages. In a product focus organization, the focus of responsibility is clear, no? Because everything is compartmentalized. The organization can turn to the product manager for information about the product because he is the head of that product line. That's very clear. The disadvantage is the narrow focus on one product, neglecting customer needs, and centralized structure. So in other words, the focus is very narrow because you are only focused on one particular product line. You neglect, and your focus is only on the customer needs and wants on that particular product line. Also one company that is using this kind of product focus organization is Adobe Systems. No? In their product and development marketing, product marketing, they have the channel. So product and development, this group, they have a separate for product marketing and a separate line for the marketing. No? Maybe in the marketing, you are just focused on the customer analysis and competitive analysis, and you try to do an overall review of your marketing strategies or your marketing mix. But precisely for a product manager, you are totally concentrated on your product that you are handling, starting from the introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. General Motors organizational structure also has to do with product focus, no? And the second marketing organization is about market focus, and we talk about here the segment of the market. Maybe in your demographic profile, you have a segment for youth, you have a segment for or a segment for nursery, a segment for toddlers, a segment for um, teenagers, and then adults, and then adolescents. Okay, so that is the segment of the market. Or you can have also a segment in terms of geographic. Maybe a segment in Europe, a segment in Asia, a segment in the United States, a segment in Australia, or a segment in Alaska, which are the continents or geographic. So this, when we talk about market focus organization, we talk about the different demographics, no? And how do you do that in a market focus organization? Here, uh, we try to look at the marketing department, and we try to see the market segment A, the market segment B, and the market segment C. And along this market segment, there is specific product lines for that particular segment. A specific product line for segment letter B, and specific product line for segment letter C. Okay? Let's try to characterize what is this market focus. It defines marketing authority by market segment. No? And this is useful when there are significant differences in buyer behavior among market segments. Like for example, 17 to 22 years old, and comparing to 23 to 30 years old, maybe this segment is much economically and financially stable than this segment, because this segment are precisely students, while here they are already young professionals, no? So they could afford the different product line that you are trying to. Maybe this 23 to 30 might belong to the early adopters, no? Especially in high technology demanded product. Okay? The next is the advantages and disadvantages of a market focus. This is more focused on the customer. The disadvantage is the conflict with the product management structure that may lie beneath. What does it mean? It means to say, with the for example, your segment is Asia. Maybe there is a conflict between the applicability of product that is particularly in Asia, but the segment is not applicable for Europe. No, let's take for example the segment of McDonald's. No, McDonald's product mixes and product lines in Asia is significantly different in the United States and Europe. Totally different. Let's try to look the neighboring countries, Japan, no, and the Philippines. In Japan, they are much more, they don't like, in the Middle East, they don't like pork, no? They like beef, chicken, but not unlike in the Philippines, pork is applicable as a product line or product mix of McDonald's. And then a significant example of this is Bell Company. They have a segment, and the segment, this is the vice president. This is the assistant vice president for business, consumer, and assistant vice president for inter-industry marketing. No, so you can see that under the AVP of consumer marketing, okay, product management is here. No? One segment, one layer. No? And they have also a product management for this kind of segment in business marketing. This one is consumer, this one is inter-industry. In the inter-industry, there is no more product management because this is involved in the collaboration of the internal department. And we are now going to the third one, which is the functional. When it comes to functional, this is the function. Let's take, for example, marketing. Different functions of marketing. We have product marketing, advertising, sales promotion, and marketing research. So these are the different functions of marketing. That's why it's called a functional focus organization. This is a typical example of a function. This is the vice president for sales and marketing. Okay, so you have the different functions that you can see. All right. Uh, Again, functionally focused organization characteristic aligned by marketing functions such as advertising. So if you can, there is another example. If this is the marketing department, you could try to have your organization by piece: product, promotion, and placement. That's another function of marketing department. Advantages, of course, administratively simple in functional. There's no single person that is responsible for day-to-day health of the product. Okay, everybody's involved. Okay? So this is a toy manufacturer that follows the marketing organization. We have the marketing support, advertising and public relation, publication, consumer administration, and merchandising. Where is product management? Maybe product management is along the consumer administration, or it can be in merchandising. It depends. No? They can integrate product management function, or it could be probably but you cannot place it here, but more ideally realistic is trying to integrate product management in this sector. Okay, what are the changes affecting product management today? Web, internet, social media, the data, how data are being processed right now, how data are collected, how data are interpreted, how data are analyzed to give us a universal language of and aid us in our business decision making. There is also a great emphasis on the increase of brands, changes in the balance of market power, and according to Porter 5 forces, no? The threat of new entry, the threat of substitute, the power of customers, the power of buyers or customers, and the power of suppliers, right? What else? The increased importance of customer retention programs, no? So these are changes or factors that affects product management right now, because right now customers are knowledgeable. Customers should always have a choice. So it is much better that you have a customer relationship management, so that it is expensive to acquire customers than to retain. Okay? Increase global competition. But right now, according to strategic management, there are only two variables that is ever constant, which is globalization and the rapid change in technology. Because of globalization and the rapid change of technology, product management will continuously evolve and try and will refine and be fine tuned. No? All right. So as an assessment, I want you to conduct an email interview with a product manager. Okay. You must write first your pre-structured questions, at least 15, and you should design an interview to a product manager practitioner. And the basic questions are: what was the career path that took you to your current position? What are your biggest successes? What was the most and least satisfying about? So these are just examples of questions that you need to ask, but I want you to pre-structure and prepare 15 questions, so that I want to see it first, so that you can try to send this through an email to a product manager, maybe your friend, acquaintance, or maybe a relative. Okay. All right. So this should be in group. No, this is a group interview. I will design and divide the groups into teams. No? So customer knowledge is critical for product managers. What have you observed as biggest mistakes product managers make in learning about segmenting customers? So these are concluding questions that you want to ask, no, after collecting the informations. So thank you very much, and for listening, and keep safe, and watch out for the second lesson of our